not know whether this is too loud or too not. Let's see. Just need to check the audio. Okay, put that down. It looks like we have hello, Wayne. Yeah, hi, Wayne. Before I get into anything, we have to, number one, wait for Unity to do its typical thing, and also I want to find out whether my audio is working. So if anybody out there, it's not probably my audio is my music behind me way too loud, because I don't want anybody to deafen themselves. Okay, one of these days they're going to put these things situated in a way that my okay, that's a cat in a box. Hopefully that means everything is good. They're coming up with new emojis all the time, these kids these days. And it looks like it says we have absolutely no viewers. But hey, I guess that's odd. It's just showing me. I mean, I know you have at least one viewer, but it's showing me right here no one. Yeah, sounds good to me, Rachel. Okay, thank you. Maybe I should put on my glasses. Problem is I'm going to be switching between them back and forth. So, actually this music is kind of like dreary. Let me see if I can find something a little bit more upbeat. It sounds like something, John Cave. No, what's that guy from Australia? Nick Cave would be doing. Nick Cave music. Let me see if I can find something a little bit more upbeat to put in the background. She's hard to say because all the YouTube videos are like so strange, volumes. I don't want to be talking too much about the music. I'm going to go down to my collection. I have my Bandcamp window open here. I'm just going to go and try and find something that's a little bit less dreary and whatever. Unfortunately, that dreary is 90% of my collection, my music collection. By the way, to all who are tuning in, thank you so very much for doing so. I haven't done one of these, a proper one of these in a while. Geez, long story. I mean, you know what, I'm just going to put this on the background because it's nice and just sort of whooshy and whatever. So let me just go back over to my thing here and see. Yes, we got 6 viewers. Okay, 6 viewers. Hello. Hi. Hello. Okay, just seeing. Yes, I get 3 people. I probably wouldn't hurt to click the like. Oh, well, gee, thank you for somebody. Please like and subscribe. The problem is I'm using our YouTube channel is my personal YouTube channel is the project's YouTube channel, and as a result, hopefully that music in the background isn't too loud. Let me know. Let me switch over to here so I can see if you can. I own 1 Nick Cave murder ballads. I like to do it kind of Kylie Minogue. I didn't know he worked with everybody. Actually, he invited Blixa Bargeld from Einstürzende Neubauten to play guitar for the Bad Seeds, and I mean Blixa Bargeld was very open about I cannot play guitar at all. Nick Cave just liked the sounds that the guy made. He did have a way of making just odd noises with his vocal cords. You can see him playing in that black and white Australian TV performance of the Mercy Seat. This is within the editor. I don't want to show you guys, it playing within the editor, because as you can see, it lags and is not as fast. I'm going to turn off gizmos here. So this is just within the editor because this allows me to just zip around the game world and such. I need to turn this down on my end. I'm actually a fan of Nick Cave. I don't know, he's got this je ne sais quoi. He's sort of like almost the Australian Tom Waits in a way. Let's see here. I thought I told Arjuna to take that tower down just a bit there. I'm gonna have to talk to him again. Yeah, the architecture down here. What exactly? Good evening, Two Shads. Yeah, what exactly are we going to be showing off this evening? Well, I'm just trying to remember. The last time that we did something like this was before the alpha, and before the alpha was sort of like a different phase of development. And what I'm going to do here, really quick, I'm going to just bring up the latest build of it. Let's see. I'm hoping I just didn't delete it. was. That would be a real shame. Sunset Bill. No, there it is. Very good. That should be the one. Oh, but here's the problem. Oh my goodness, it just hit me. 90% of the neat stuff I was going to show you are inside of a workbench scene that we can't see here. Jeez. I should maybe keep a witty banter while we go through this. I just want to explain a couple things. Number one, before we get started here, like a couple minutes in, I know YouTube etiquette says we're not supposed to drink or eat anything while we're broadcasting to you. I'm sorry, I'm a human being. And number two, I don't like speak out loud at length very often, so I typically sip and my beverage while I speak to you. Hopefully that isn't going to be too much of a turnoff. And number two, I took a quick nap at 4 p.m. thinking, I'd get up about 45 minutes later. I literally got up about 20 minutes before we were supposed to go live here. So I'm going to become a little bit sharper over the next few minutes. Just bear with me. Thank you so very much. What I'd really like to show you, I'm sorry, I'm going to bring that project up again. It'll only take it a minute to open, is really the new stuff that's been brought in. And while that's opening, I can regale you with a wonderful tale of, where we've been. If you had talked to me about, I'd say about 4 or 5 months ago, I would have said the project was in a state of crisis. Very little was working. We were very much behind schedule, and now I admit, I mean, now that I have a better idea of what I went before, we were behind schedule. We are behind schedule, but unfortunately, it's none of my fault other than my negligence in hiring the wrong people. But we are behind, and fortunately, about 3 or 4 months ago, we had this guy join the project, and he opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. And I'm not going to go on at length about this because, trust me, I've gone through a lot of self-therapy on this. But he made me realize that for about a year, we had some people that were basically freeloading off of Peace Island LLC and freeloading off of us, doing no work, billing us for a heck of a lot of hours, and just getting by on reputation. And the words of somebody who, fortunately, is no longer. None of these people are with the company anymore. And I mean, I didn't come to the realization that the extent to which these people had caused problems with the project until a new guy joined the project. And this guy came out of nowhere, and he said, "Listen, I want this job. I will do anything." And this guy, he's a natural. He does more. I basically brought him on to finish the character controller. He has done more on the character controller in the last, a couple of months than a guy that we had on the project we had this guy on the project who literally just phoned into work, was obviously drinking alcohol at noon. Every time he ever communicated with me personally, it was just, "Hey, I usually get paid $100 an hour for this." He did a crappy job that was worse than, honest to God. And anyway, this new guy is just doing so dang well. And basically, goodness gracious, he is if you are a lead dev, he is the guy that you want behind you. He is the guy that can be your right hand. That is like, I need this done while I'm handling all these meta issues. And within hours, he's like, "Got that done. What else do you need?" In fact, when we were releasing this last beta, I was telling, "Please stop adding new stuff, please." This guy is he's just a firecracker. And here's the thing: is after he joined the project, so much stuff got done in such a quick order. He really just revived the project. Here's the thing, and I really hate having to admit that about 5 or 6 months ago, I felt kind of bad about the future of the project, because let me tell you, I've had absolute faith in the project since the very moment I started on it. And again, that goes to, that just speaks to you about how scammers can really mess with your mind and seek to undermine your project. But here's the thing, we're back at this scene. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to these scenes here. I have to bring up his scene. My goodness. But anyway, now that this guy is on, let me tell you, we have, I mean, even in the week since we released the alpha, this guy has added so much new stuff to the character controller and to the AI of the deer, and such that I feel kind of bad that I released back then. But here's the thing. This just means that, we're going to have a really, really good public beta when that time comes around. And, I mean, it feels good to feel confident about the project again. And, I mean, don't get me wrong. We've also, during the time that, we had the scammers messing with the project, we had great people working on the project. We still do. It's just that, again, when you're the lead dev of a project and you suddenly realize, you just feel, hold on, that went on for a whole year underneath my nose, and I didn't even realize it, and it shakes your self-faith. And I mean, that's why scammers, it's just a shame that this blah 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 blah. Oh, and necessary is a rule. Well, hey, no new features, but they're working or meant to have been working. I'm just checking. So we get so can we get a fixed final alpha for PC? Yes, Wayne. That is on the Patreon. If you're asking me, yes, Wayne, you certainly can by donating as little as $1 to our Patreon. And I noticed I've lost 3 viewers because of my ranting about that. But hey, look at what those guys missed. And our Patreon could be found at patreon.com/Peace Island. Who could have guessed? Anyway, let me see here. Now, first off, oh goodness, come on, dear. The deer still has somewhat of a problem with it. We have not gotten the pathfinding mechanism. See, the deer will just walk right into things. But notice this guy. Well, goodness, what is going on here? Hey, we tried this, right? This is going to be another one of these circumstances where I'm like, dang it. Oh, no, here. See, now the deer's following us here. Now, dig this. As soon as we go into the Heidi weeds, the deer loses sight of us and now is off on his own business again. That was not in the alpha. We did not have the Heidi weeds in there, so that you can now sneak around. Now, another thing that's new is we are going to have the seagulls landing on the ground, and whenever the cats or the deer get near, they will go bye-bye. And the geese, they're a little bit skatey there, but they will follow you, and they'll peck at you. But before we had I liked how they surrounded them. Richard did a very good one. We also have this. You can now catch butterflies. You see, let's see. Let's go there, and you see, and after you eat those, they're gone. And also you can eat the foods now. See? And the food's gone. And I mean, just so much of just elementary stuff that I mean should have been done, I admit now, a long time ago, is finally getting in here and turning it into a real living sort of environment. And it's just wonderful to see. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh yeah, we do not have the slant walk in. The cats are still a little bit slanty on surfaces there, but we do have them, so they swim there. Except it doesn't look like the other one wants to follow, and who can blame him? Did he already put that AI in, or the cats are like, no, I'm not in a good mood, I'm not going to follow you. Hey, who knows? And also, as you can see, when you're on the other side of the weeds, the deer still can't see you. It doesn't follow you, but as soon as you get over here, oops, now it's going to be on you. I mean, simple. But little things like that were not included with the latest alpha. And but I can show you the new stuff that was included in the latest alpha. Let's see. The eating thing, maybe drinking. Heck, professionals do that for talk shows. I don't get it. You're gonna forgive me. Um, uh, Feeling? I'm sorry. My glasses are no good. My goodness, I'm getting old. Oh, a fee helm. A fee helm? I don't fully understand your comment there. Um, and since the last, oh, I can still show you here. Since the last, version that we did release, we got the new controller in with a bunch of new animations and such, and all of. Oh goodness! Yeah, of course we got the jump. We still have. Can I just say, this is something that's got to be smoothed out. When the cat jumps, we have that little kick. That is the only thing that still really sticks out at me when I see the controller. But it's. I'm pretty sure that is going to get fixed sometime soon. And let's see. Oh, but hey, get out of my way, deer. There. Let's see. Can we smack at things here? Oh, yep, you can. But the deer is. Come on. Gosh, dang it, deer, follow me all the way over here. And maybe we. Oh no, I got him outside of his patrol area. He's just gonna go back to eating. I'm doing that. Oh, but I got to. You see, he saw me there, but he got to the edge of his patrol area. But let's see. What we should do now is launch the build. April 8th. Oh, okay. I didn't know you were suggesting releasing an updated alpha. Um, Wayne, and anybody who else is watching this who doesn't like the current beta or alpha that we released, get in contact with me at Peace Island LLC, and I will send you a link to a new build or something. Because here's the thing. We've already gone through the release. Just the release in itself was such a nightmare. And integrating all of these things would take me, can I just say that I just showed off in their own scene, would take me a few weeks to fully integrate properly. That is why we can't do another alpha release. And here's the thing, is that everybody who donated $1, again, we just can't do it. We can't do another release because I put everything on this release. Again, Wayne, geez, I don't want to go into the business of making games here, but when you tell the public something, you have to follow up on it. I said this last release was a final alpha, and it has to be the final alpha. If I continue to put out, oh, here's another alpha, and here's another final alpha, and here's another final alpha, people will be asking me every update, every little thing that I put, like I put a tweet onto YouTube, hey, we got this functionality in. Why don't I'm guarantee you people are going to say, why don't you release another alpha with this new thing? We can only do so many. I'm very sorry. That's the way it is. Again, maybe I will. Maybe I will for the Patreon folks in about 3 months. The speed at which development is going, maybe I will. But right now, so soon after, and just after we got the Mac build released, I can't do another release. I would rather, in fact, wait another month so that everybody else has a chance to play it, get all of their bug reports together, sit down with the new guy and everybody else at the office, fix those issues, and then release another alpha. We can't be, I mean, releasing a new alpha for every new update is called nickeling and diming. The death by 1,000 cuts if you want to go by another way. And that's why we can't. And I'm sorry if the latest alpha is buggy, but such is life. We did the best we could in the time that we had. And heck, again, it's still an alpha. There are going to be bugs. Anyway, hey, now that Wayne has me on my back heels, guys, let's go over to the build. No. By the way, I always like that phrase. They have me on the back heels. It's like you're in a fight and you're on the defensive. So, we don't say that here in the United States that much. That's more of a British saying, phrase. So, while we're waiting for this to close, does anybody want to have any questions about the game? Does anybody have any questions about, any comments, anything? Have you played the latest alpha? Have you had a chance to? I mean, I'm just curious. Is there something that you would like changed? Is the soundtrack good? Is there, if there's something you would like to see added? I'm all ears. I mean, that's why I'm here. And can I tell you? Let me turn off my background music, by the way, while this is going on, because this is going to come up pretty quick. And I need to open up OBS to make sure that the audio of that is not warning. Okay. Yeah, it's not insane. Okay, for those who, blah, 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 who've not played this since, like, the last alpha or not played an alpha before, we completely redid the intro screen here. I mean, before it was just, I think it was just, it went straight to the exterior or something like that. No, I forget exactly what we had on, because here's the thing, it took us 10 months to do this alpha for various reasons. And we have the new intro music, and it seems like my speakers, yeah. My headphones are really screwy here. Okay, there we go. We're on a shoestring budget. I can't afford a new pair of headphones. So, anyway, for the first time, we have the interior. And yes, people have pointed out the interior is kind of dark. And especially the kitty cat, Lizzie there. We have noticed that people are trying to jump right on top of the boxes there, and they get stuck inside of the boxes. We are going to fix that. We discovered also, I thought that this letter, oh yeah, you can. Okay, the letter does work. I was told that a person could not examine some of the documents inside of this first house, but apparently you can. And now this, if there's something that really burns my butt about this, is I wanted, number one, the intro, the exposition scene at the very beginning, and number two, I wanted a loading screen when the player jumps out of this window, because it's loading the exterior world. The exterior world is gigantic, and it's going to get a quicker load with every new build, but the first initial load takes it a minute, and I wish to goodness sakes we could get a loading screen on here so people weren't just stuck with a black screen, because I have a very powerful computer, and it still takes me about the same amount of time as it does everybody else for the scene to load. And you can hear the exterior audio coming in with the bird tweeting and such. We lost 2 people. They were like, goodness gracious, this guy just going to sit here and eat peanuts all evening? Yes, I'm going to sit here and eat peanuts all evening. So, yeah, there she goes. Oh, that's another thing that we have in the new alpha. Even though she's munching on Lizzie's butt there, that we have the follow dynamic set up there. So that kitty cat will follow you until the ends of the earth almost. I've been surprised at how well that cat is, how good that cat is in following me around the map. And now, one of the things that I'm going to be having Richard do, and now that we have this final alpha done, I think right now we only have about 4 exterior music biomes. In the end, there are going to be 7 music biomes all around the island, I believe, which means there's going to be a much more varied soundtrack. And there we got the butterflies. Now, and for those who don't know and have never listened to it, there's a radio broadcast within the game. Yeah. that has a bunch of, music and news and such. And here's the thing: is we hired the guy. Everybody has seen Groundhog Day, of course, the movie with Bill Murray. The DJ, the guy who's the announcer on that initial radio broadcast, he's the guy who did, the morning news announcers. He's, like I say, that cat follows you everywhere. The morning news announcers on and Groundhog Day, the movie. And I was hoping he'd put a little bit more energy into it, but the guy is, it has been close to 40 years since that movie came out, so I can't ask him to. And these geese, they have, I think these geese are the same. Yeah, they're going to follow us. Now, this is another bug that Wayne was pointing out here. This park here actually should have a fence all the way around it. That burns my keister a little bit. What the heck? What was it being caught up on there? It seemed to be getting caught up on something. And you see there, for some reason, Lizzie, when she's in the shadows here, I'm just going to go over here, she gets a little bit of a sheen to her. Shininess, you see. And I'm wondering if that has to do with the undercoat or the fur itself. Because oh no, Susie has a little bit of shininess too. We do have the reactive grasses. As you can see, the grasses are just falling down in their path and they're popping back up. We're going to be working on having the foliage fade out when the camera passes through it. And this is another bug, unfortunately. We were able to bring the kitten in here. Let's move to Ronan. But the problem is he has like a frosted like exterior. Something's wrong with the maps. I think it's because the way this cat controller is handled, it's a cat inside of another cat, and there might be a redundant fur shader propping up. Yeah, you see, he does a lot of different stuff. He has a more energetic idols. But yeah, the new kitten, that was another thing we didn't expect to be able to include in the last one. And that was pretty cool. And, geez, the game... Right now, the biggest thing that we did not include in the last alpha, and I see... You see the grass that comes back up in your path, is we were not able to bring in the dialogue story engine. And because this is an open world adventure, again, that is a major stumbling block, because there aren't really much in the way of quests you can do, if you don't have the quest engine in. Oh, that's another thing. The cat used to get stuck all the time on rocks, and now they have, thanks to the new control... Oops! Hey! We're near the radio. Another radio. Oh, coming up ahead again. Gonna have to get the fade in on that a little bit tighter, I think. Oh, boy. But, let's see. I'm just trying to see if... let's see if we... Can he swipe? No, he can't swipe. Let's see. We're going to go over to one of the other cats here. Going to go with Boy. There he is. Yeah, there.
Yeah, it's our weatherman, Jason Olsen, from the National Weather Office. Hey, how you doing there,
now,
Jason?
Can't complain, Ben.
Yeah, we're losing everybody, I see.
Trust me, Jason, I'll be out there soon.
Now,
but
that's another one of those silly details. If we listen to the weather report, we wrote a weather report that it does not matter what day or time it is, it's going to be accurate. It was so vague. And you're wondering, how come the radio is playing when all the humans are supposed to be gone? Well, no, people who play the beta know this. Ben, he is taking the day off. It's the day after the tourists leave for the season, and he's taking the day off to go fishing. And so he pre-recorded his broadcast. Now, this is another one. I could have sworn to God I fixed you see these white crumpled paper things here? Those are bushes. And I fixed those the night before we built. And honest to God, they're screwed up again. It burns my butt. Now, places like this is the old pet cemetery on the island here. I'm going to have to figure out how to brighten this up again. Add a little bit of baby baked ambient lighting to the scene. Because this is supposed to be a private, secluded place, but it's a little bit too dark. Let's see. This guy seems to be stuck on permanent run, and that's totally cool. And another thing we did since the last alpha is we basically carved out all of the trails that you could go on throughout the island. Before we had, I mean, I think we added about 60, no, we added at least 120% more trails all throughout the island that lead you to a whole bunch of different places that you can find all over the place. Oh, wow, we went from 7 to 14 viewers all of a sudden. Yeah, this is the back end here. Like, let me just see here. And yeah, we were finally able to get the high-res rocks in, which was another thing that dogged us for a couple of releases there. For some reason, the ocean is not really fogging out like it should. That's another thing I'm just going to have to look a little bit more into. Now, before, the cats had a very hard problem getting stuck on, like, the rocks. And it looks like I'm going to have to bring in those,
And that's as good a time as any to turn you back over.
Now, Laura tells me, bless the woman who did the mayor's voice here. Laura tells me she did a little bit too much of it, you know, the New England accent. She wasn't genuine. Boy, Laflamme Fishworks sure is beautiful with all the flowers now. Yeah, this is, if you don't know, this is the old, like, fish packing plant that's now out of business. And here live the two crazy people who are descended from the founder. And I've always gone into this, you know, because we were working on such a small palette, i.e. an island.
Chunks of its flesh in a mixture of mayonnaise and vinegar. We're here to make you smile. It's like my beloved grandpa always said. Come on down to Boyd's, where we will haunt you and your entire family through the space-time continuum, and the universe itself will lament the day you were ejected into the sun-carrying world. We also serve French fries.
All right.
Is watering.
My mouth is watering. Oh my, yeah, and this is sort of like simple, and you can see it needs to be refined a little bit. The grass is a little bit too tall, but adding grass in the ruts of in the center between the ruts on the road is something that I've been meaning to do for quite a while, because, I mean, main islands, sunsets. Let's just stop I'm going to see if anybody asked any question over here. Oh, not a single question. Oh, no, Wayne did a lot of questions, it looks like. I'm going to have to go over here. Oh, look, the deer came on over to say howdy. Oh, boyness. Hey, leave me alone there, meanie. Jeez. And the thing is the deer aren't even supposed to be there. Okay, I'm going to go back to the thing I was talking about, because I'm Grandpa Simpson. I tend to lose track of what I was saying. The island is a small palette in which to tell the story, but because it's a small palette, we can put a lot of detail in, and you know, every house on this island, we know the people that who live in there, and we know their entire life's history, sometimes their entire family's history, going back 200 years, if not longer. And every person on this island has their own story, their own, like, thing they're going after, and you will, you know, the cats will. We're trying to set it up. I mean, in writing this, has anybody played Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines? Of course you have. It's one of the best games ever made. What I liked about that game is that you could play it several times through, and there were several critical paths toward the end of the game. We would like it so, I mean, we want replayability in this game. In fact, we want you to be able to play it through 3 times in order to get to, you know, all 3 endings. This means what we would like to do in Bloodlines. In Bloodlines, there were things that you could do if you took one path that you couldn't do if you took another path. Some buildings were not open to you if you took one path, but others would. And that's the way I would like it in this. I mean, as you run around, I mean, one person's story will lead to another. And what we'd like is, you know, I will say one of the good things that Bethesda did with games like with Fallout, and hopefully this doesn't make me... Well, I mean, I'm realizing now that there's an entire generation of players that never played the original two Fallouts, but so we have to go on just assuming that, you know, Bethesda's Fallout is the Fallout now. But Bethesda did a good job in that there were so many stories as you went around on the Capital Wasteland. There were romance stories. There was one building that was totally like a Lovecraftian Cthulhu sort of story. And what we would like is like to give the player like multiple options on a particular branch. As you can see during the night, and I've noticed this, fog tends to not display as well. I thought I had fixed that, but there you go. But anyway, we would like to give people the option of, you know, of several approaches to every given, you know, juncture in the critical paths of this game, and give them the option of, you know, I could pursue this pursuit, but you know, that's a story that doesn't appeal to me as much as this other line, because, you know, there may be people who, you know, want to you know, experience like sort of a vicarious, you know, story, because what you're going to be doing as a cat is not only exploring the world, you're going to be learning about all the people that lived on the island and their lives and what they do, and you know, and their importance to the story overall. This cat is stuck on Eternal Jump, but not Eternal Jump, but Eternal Run. What was I gonna say? I lost my track. Sorry, guys. I'm at Grandpa Simpson. Let me get this guy to a place where he's a little bit lit. Oh yeah, stories, and yeah, we would like to give the player just like that option of, you know, do I want to, you know, find out what the deal is with the romance between, say, the camper and the woman who teaches yoga on the far side of the island. Yeah, that isn't a story that really appeals to me. I'd rather, you know, like learn about this veteran story, you know, who runs the art gallery, or perhaps the mayor's story. No, she has a lot of stories, and actually the mayor. I discovered something. That's something we could talk about when we lose everybody near the end. You see, as dawn breaks, fog is going to really intensify here. Something is kind of wacky here. But hey, Wayne, that's another thing I'll fix. Look at that. The sky is gray at night still. Actually, I've been out on the island, and we have had days like this where the sky above you is totally gray, but the sun is coming in from an angle, so everything around you is brightly lit, but the sky is dark and gray, and it makes everything... It's really bizarre. You know, if you've ever seen those movies where it makes you, where they're like, oh, these people are dead, and they're walking around like this desaturated, weird alien landscape almost. That's the way it is. Why are we still getting the night sky though? That's odd. It's probably going to switch soon. That's weird. Anyway, so that is why. I mean, none of this is window dressing. Every one of these houses, you're going to be able to enter. I mean, one of the things that really pestered me about quote-unquote open-world games is, I mean, this is something that just about every open-world game did, with the exception of the original Fallouts, really, is that every building is not accessible. I think an open world should be truly open world. If you see a building over there, you should be able to go, hey, I want to go in there some way or another. Now, another thing that we included in this one, and I should show you later on, is you can climb ivy, and you can balance walk. Okay, it looks like, wow, the entire day passed. Something's wacky with Skybox there. Huh, go figure. Oh no, I see what happened. Night fell very quickly. I think that I'm going to have to take some notes here. And also what we want to do is maybe restart, because the cats are completely out of energy and vim and vigor, because if I did not explain, and if you do not know, and after this I swear I'm going to get to your questions and comments over there, is that as no matter where you, when you're walking around the game world, the music always changes depending upon the time of day, what place you are, and the cat's mood. Also, the cat's posture changes depending on the cat's mood. As you can see, all of the bars here are empty, and thus the cat's tail is down, and he's not going to be all that swift, even though he seems to be stuck on like Mega Run all the time. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go back to the title menu. Oh, we got a loading screen on a title menu, but not the exterior world. Oh goodness. I'm going to slap myself on behalf of like all the people out there. All right, now. Do we have music running over each other now? It sounds like. Yeah, hold on. Yeah. It's weird. The external music was still. Oh my goodness, Wayne. Okay, you've shamed me. I very well might have to. Okay. Okay, Wayne. Wayne, are you still there? Yeah, I think you are. All right, you brought me around. I didn't know that was the issue. That when you quit out and went back to the main menu, it would still continue playing the main soundtrack. That's new. Okay, now, if you give me a moment, I have to go over here, and I'm going to read some of the questions and comments. Let's see here. Wow. So, fix final off. Okay, yeah, you're right. But Wayne, I think I brought him around there. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you, TH, Marshall Reese. Marshall, your name is familiar. You're the person who had a problem with the cat. Like, no, okay. Yeah, you found a way to stop the perpetual motion kitty. Marshall was having a problem where the cats were stuck in eternal run mode. And, that was weird. I mean, let me just bring it open to the main screen again. Let me see. Wow. Wayne. Explore stuff. Yeah, Wayne, I will say that your performance is really, really good, much improved in this alpha because of various things. Mostly because we replaced for some reason, believe it or not, because we changed, before the grass was not reactive to the cats passing. When the cats walked over the grass, nothing would change, But when we changed it to the reactive grasses, all of a sudden, the memory demand on the grass went down by about, I think, 70%. And that meant we could put so much more stuff in and not sacrifice performance. That was really cool. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if anybody here, I'm probably going to see a comment about this in it. If anybody here is a fan of the Dad ARG series on YouTube, they probably recognize this. This is Oceans of Time by Melody Sheep. And, let's see here. Let's see. I think the audio is at a proper level. Bring that down. Let me see what I was going to say. That's a piece of music that we licensed. I got in touch with the guy, and I'm hoping that I'm not cheesing off the Dad fans in the audience for using the same song, but I mean, ever since I saw it in his. And by the way, if you're not familiar with the Dad like ARG thing, if you got time and you want to like check it out, I recommend going to Dad Feels on YouTube and just, in fact, I think his channel is just called Dad. It's very synth-wavy weird, and it's sort of fun. But the problem is now he's done it for about 2 years and it's sort of gone on and on. So just really quick, I'm just going to go over your questions before we go into another play of this. 20 minutes. Yeah. Susie, unable to follow her. I forgot about her. Then 20 minutes later, she caught up with me. It's a nice surprise. When I'm surprised that you spent 12 hours. I mean, here's the thing. I think, again, I think you shamed me. I mean, number one, I'm honored that we are all honored that you spent 12 hours playing around the alpha, the latest alpha. And maybe we should, in recognition to your service. Did you send us? I think you did send us a comprehensive bug report. We have a lot in our mail inbox, but the thing is I didn't want to deal with the feedback and bug reports email and comprehensively until we got the Mac issue taken care of. And now that we have that, I could just take them on one by one. And after I finish taking care of mailing out premiums tomorrow, that's what I'm probably going to take care of. I got, every week we're still sending out postcard sets and art prints to everybody who's contributed. In fact, there's one person who didn't get theirs, and I sort of screwed up, so I'm sending them an extra couple of buttons and stickers and such. But anyway, I'm going to check your questions over here. Jen, that is apparently something that changed in when we adopted the new player controller. She says she could not eat the food inside of the main interior. I think that is because the eat action was recoded inside of the white box, but that change was not made to the food items in the main interior. And I mean, God, I'm not gonna. A lot of bugs, but here's the thing. Understand, it had been 10 months since we last released an alpha, and I felt honor bound to release one. Bugs and everything. The bugs are in there are nothing new, and I'm very sorry that they're still in there. But here's the thing: is the people that have supported our game diligently for the last 10 months, without having to play anything, not seeing anything as a result of the money that they've been so generously giving to the project, we felt that it was very important to get something out. Maybe Wayne has brought up a good point that maybe something, I am telling everybody that we are going to be releasing the public beta before the end of the year. And now that we have the new guy working with us, I'm 100% confident that we will be getting that done. A lot of I'm pretty sure that between now and then we might have time for maybe a surprise beta alpha release, because I think really all told it's going to be about we're 4 months into about 7 months plus before we release that. So it would be good maybe in about 2 or 3 months to release another alpha. Maybe we'll see. I just have to get that past my coder, folks. Hold on, gotta go back to the questions. Why don't I have them right here? Because the way YouTube has it set up, it would just be that cascading, weird funhouse mirror effect there. And I don't want to do that to you, so. Yeah, Wayne points out, yeah. Yeah, here's the thing. The Door Galaxy was something that was put in early in. Wayne asked about the Door Galaxy. The Door Galaxy was something that was sort of put in as a shortcut to get to various areas inside of the game. It's sort of deprecated at this point, but we still keep it in because it's a quick way to zip around to places. And for example, when we included the Jungle Gym, it was like, we don't have a way to really seamlessly integrate all of this into the game world itself, so we'll just create, an extra thing in the Door Galaxy that takes you there. Just call it, a residual. In fact, you know what the Door Galaxy is? Recently, in Fallout 76, somebody found out that, any player could, log into this one scene where they had every weapon and every beautiful object that you could possibly want in Fallout 76 all in one place. And that's what the Door Galaxy sort of is. It's just one of those, the back rooms, if it were. It's the back rooms of the Peace Island project. So. Yes, Pet Cemetery. I mean, honest to goodness, as TH pointed out, Let's see. The radio broadcasts are awesome, well produced, and enjoyable. Yeah, that's gone by the name of Dante Fumo. I mean, seriously, if you want to name Dante Fumo, I mean, seriously, it would only be better if it was Dante Fuego or something like that. But he did a very good job, and we are going to have to replace one of the pieces of music in the soundtrack. The guitar piece. Why do we hurt the ones we love? Uh, that is because everybody's tuning up because I sang there. That is because here's the thing: is the woman who does that song. She is one of these people who really, really loves. In fact, I'm just going to start running around while I'm talking, and hopefully I won't lose sight of what I'm doing, because we're losing viewers here because they're just seeing the same thing hour after hour. She is one of these people. She really enjoys playing her music on street corners, staying on couches, traveling all around the world, and not being beholden to anybody. And here, and it took a very long time to get in touch with. And when I finally was able to get in touch with her, she said, "How were you able to find me?" Because she obviously didn't want to be found. And licensing her music was just proving to be an impossibility because, again, this is a person that wanted to spend her life just performing on street corners, having something that she actually had to sign papers for, and such was a little bit too much for her, apparently. And it sucks because that song, she performed it at Battery Steel, which is a mirror of Battery Hamlin, which you'll find in the game. There's this old World War II battery out on Peaks Island, and we have an analog of that in this. And it has the best acoustics of any place. It sounds better than any cathedral in town. It's gorgeous, and she performed that once there. And it was one of the songs that I played endlessly while I was initially performing the game, and I don't know, developing the game. And I really wanted to include that in the radio, but unfortunately, see, she followed. Unfortunately, she skipped out. And the thing is I cannot, in good conscience, use her music. Oh, and if you're wondering, will the cats ever be able to drive a golf cart? Yes, absolutely, they will be able to drive a golf cart. In fact, we recently decided in a writers' meeting, we're bumping that up from the beginning of the third act to the beginning of the second act, but I don't want to give too much else away. Let's see here. Oh, I was asking you questions and I got sort of off on the radio. Why we couldn't include that one. And again, sometimes the fog and the lights, you do get a little bit off, but sometimes they look perfect. Look at that that sunrise, it's just, that's just gorgeous. Anyway, I'm going to go back to the questions over here. Oh, and I was going to comment on Pet Cemetery. Pet Cemetery, of course, it is set in Maine, and Stephen King, Pet Cemetery, of course. I actually did get in touch with Stephen King's agent because I wanted a interview. One of the humans on the island is, we call him the reclusive author, but his name is Maurice Markarian. He lives all the way over here. Let's just go over to Maurice Markarian's house really quick with Susie. And why did I bring him up? Oh yeah, Pet Cemetery. I want a segment on the radio show. The radio show is going to be expanded to about an hour and a half, really. I want it like the ones on Grand Theft Auto that you can listen to for an entire play session, maybe, or a couple of play sessions, and not get too bored with it. And I wanted it specifically so that the cats do have to sit in one spot and listen to the radio broadcast, so that the player is forced. I mean, occasionally if they do that, the geese, you see, are going to come after them, and then they're going to be always forced away from the radio in most cases. So I did want it so that the players are only going to be able to catch it, in snatches here and there, maybe a couple of minutes at a time. But anyway, Pet Cemetery. Oh yeah, there's going to be an interview with that reclusive author who lives, by the way, in that greenhouse right over there. As we see through here, I'm hiding in the bushes so that those geese don't get us. And if you're wondering about, I mentioned earlier about the camper, I think he's somewhere over here, his camper. And by the way, all these people, all these characters and such are based on people that we, that we've encountered out on the island. Oh, is that his tent? Boy, I'm lost on my own island, man. I don't know where I am. Hey, in fact, you see, we're getting a little bit of that, the leaves flapping in the camera. That's annoying. But hey, somewhere up here. Come on. But anyway, boy, where did I get off on that? Yeah, Pet Cemetery. We included the Pet Cemetery as a nod to Stephen King. Absolutely, as a nod to Stephen King. But also, in fact, this makes me just go back in time a little bit. This is another place that we're gonna have to go like off outside of the game. I'm thinking this takes us to the Treaty Pine. Does it? Yes, but the Treaty Pine looks like it's no longer there, is it? Goodness, I forgot how big this place is. Oh, the Pet Cemetery. I should just get to this place here. Oh yeah, right here, there should be a gigantic pine tree that is about, I mean, literally hundreds of years old, but it had to be pulled out, but it will be there before, because, but anyway, back to the Pet Cemetery. The reason we included that in here, let's get her off of that incline, poor little girl, is because, and I'm going to go over to a web browser so that we can do this. And this is why the other reason why we included the Pet Cemetery, other than Stephen King, is, like I said, everything in this game is based on real stuff that we've seen out on the islands. And if you're not aware, this is Portland, Maine, and for any stalkers, this little house right here is where I live. And right over here is a place called Mackworth Island. Now, this island right now is a school for the deaf mostly, but it's open to the public and you can walk around. It used to be a private island owned by a guy that was governor of the state, I believe, at one point. Now, I'm trying to find it. I'm thinking this is it right here, because it has trees growing in it. There's this little alcove. The guy who previously owned Mackworth Island, and it was, I mean, his old mansion could still be found. This is his mansion. It's part of the school now. Said the state can have this island in perpetuity as long as they maintain a graveyard for his dogs. That happens to be right here. And you could still go there today. And that is why, more than Stephen King's Pet Cemetery book, that is why we included a Pet Cemetery inside of Peace Island. Is we thought that was absolutely brilliant. I mean, and he had a lot of dogs, at least 9 of them, I think. No cats, unfortunately. And the Pet Cemetery, by the way, was it is an important location in the game, but it's one of those things. It was also a vector by which, you know, people in the early days, if they wanted to contribute a certain level, I need to include gigantic boulders on hitchbacks like that. They could get their, you know, a departed pet mentioned. There he is. She's been following us this entire. Boy, I'm telling you, we don't need to change the cat follow mechanism in any way, because cats follow when you want. And I mean, anybody who's had a cat, they know they just come up on you. I think we just keep it that way. The cats will just like go off on their own. They get lost, and when you least expect it, zoom, there they are. It's almost perfect in a way. I mean, that's one thing. There's so many things in game design that are just almost like mistakes. But yeah, that slow turn, that slow pivots, that is really fine-tuning work that has to be done in the character controller. Maybe further down the line. I never found that place I was going to go to. But I need to go back to the questions, because I think I covered the Pet Cemetery. Where are we right now? Oh goodness! Something is missing again. This is missing. This is the campground. The tent is gone. Wayne, I'm so everybody. That's another thing that was missing this time around that should have not have been. Um, there's a camper who's living on the island. He's there because he's researching something for his podcast. And inside of his tent over here, you will be able to find his computers, and you will be able to listen to a number of his old podcasts. But apparently the tent is gone, and dang it, I didn't even notice that until now. They're all the. That's the thing about an open world game like this. There's so many little things that can go wrong. And look at this. It's daytime, but the lights are still on. But that's something to work on. I think what we're going to do next, we should have those so that they slowly fade on, more than just snap on, you know. And let's see here. Yeah. Like I said, and by the way, another thing that's going to be in the public, a heck of a lot more landscaping. People out on the island, they take pride in every square inch of land that they own, and they make it as beautiful as they can. And if this was a real place out there, there would be flowers and a lot of very fine landscaping around. You know, that's another thing that I never had a chance to really do much of, but maybe over the next couple of months, we can really address that. And another thing, I don't know if you know, we actually have a tide system. The ocean goes in and out. The cats currently can swim, as you saw. They can swim when they're inside of the box. But here's the problem. That surface that they're swimming on there is a flat surface. This ocean here is a flat surface, but it is using a shader-based deformer that requires special, stuff. I maintain that if we just put an anchor on the cat's chest and the butt, they should be able to float. Oh, the tide's coming in on top. Swim on top of the ocean. That is something that maybe in Wayne's. I'll call it the Wayne Vanderheusen Alpha. There we go. And yes, the sun does blind you out there on the island sometimes. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to go back to the question because I've answered the pet cemetery. Plants, ambience, yeah. Thank you. I'm always. It seems like the cat, if the cat's sitting down, they're always resetting in a way. I'm wondering if that's a result of this, just because they're not on a flat surface. Let's see. Get the kitty on a nice flat rock there. Let's see what happens here. Dang it! It happened again. I'm just going to go over here for a moment. I'll be right back after I check with... why does it always do this first? Dang it. I'm going to go over. There we go. I know how to use a computer. All right. The plants, that is always a work in progress. I'm always seeing things that need to be fixed. In fact, if you're noticing right here, you're noticing that the beach grass is not waving like the standard grass that's over there on the left. Another thing to add to the checklist. Let's see. Wasn't that dark? Okay, yeah. Well, actually, there is, I think, we're still working with some issues with the fur shader. And I think the shadows on the fur are set a little bit too intense on some. We will have to go into the settings. That's something we sort of put on the back burner. And the cat is still sort of like having an issue whenever it tries to sit down. Oh, see? It sits down and then goes back up. It seems like something is triggering it there. I do not know why. But anyway, I'm going to go back to your questions and comments here. Oh, the vampire games. Let's see. Deer, the game. I don't have good graphics cards. So, hi, hey, if you're still here. We are always making it run better. My goal is to have it so that this game can run on a system with 8 gigabytes of RAM and, your standard issue graphics card. It should be able to. If I have to make sacrifices for that, that's totally cool because accessibility is my number one thing. And also, by the way, oh, look, that's one thing that's right. Over on the left there, you can see a rare sighting of the cat moon. It's sinking. It's going down. That heavenly body there is well, I don't want to go too much into the plot, but that features it's sinking behind the trees there. Let's see here. What was I talking about? Let's see. Any of the vampire games, I wouldn't play. Here's the thing: there's some Wayne, there's some genres that people really don't like, and I have to check my time. Oh, I've been going for an hour here. I'm probably gonna go for another 30 minutes. Just so you know, and by the way, if anybody has any questions or anything they want me to do within the alpha or any, again, that's why I'm here. But I see him. Yeah, genres of games. I was going to talk about that, and you're probably sick of seeing me shoving peanuts in my mouth, talking around food. I hate zombie games. I mean, if I don't care how great the or movie or anything with zombies in it, Wayne. Let me tell you, I don't care if they have the best writers, the best cinematographers, the best cameramen. I don't care if the best game development, if it gets rave reviews 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and 100% on games. No, what is it, Metacritic? I hate zombies. And hey, some people feel the same way about vampires. But the thing is about Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines, it is one of those games that the people who did it did a very, very good job in creating a multi-branch narrative, creating a lot of atmosphere. It had a lot of really good voice talent in it, and unfortunately, it's one of those games that didn't sell. And as a result, it's just sort of like one of those games. It's sort of a cult classic, Vampire Bloodlines of Masquerade. And even if you're not into vampires, it's still sort of a fun game. I mean, I'm not into the whole vampire mythos either. I don't watch any. But let me tell you, if I put a gun to my head and said, you're going to have to watch either a vampire movie or a zombie movie, vampires. I mean, I will sit through the entire Underworld. What is that, the Underworld trilogy or whatever, rather than sit through 2 minutes of any zombie movie. And this is another case. This little, thing here, you see this brown patch there? That should have a little bit of grass growing on it. Sorry. Grass growing on it, and I think that's another thing. Understand the vegetable masks to literally tens of thousands of points that have been moved around, and I sort of wish I could get a computer that's 5 times as powerful as the one that I have, so that I could do it a little bit quicker. It is a very time-consuming process, and every time I do it, I have to back up the entire project on my external in case it gets, because for some reason, there's somebody on our team who has a real problem with not erasing my work, and it's just annoying. And by the way, there are, there are 2 human graveyards on the island, by the way, as well. It isn't just a pet cemetery. This is the church graveyard. There is another one over by the Liflon Fish Works. That the migrant workers who worked at that factory back, 100 and some odd years ago, 150 years ago, that's where they buried their dead. And anyway, let me go back to the questions. Let's just sit here and contemplate the darkness in the cemetery here. Feeling? Alpha Course? Yeah, video man. Can you show us a lighthouse as seen by downards? I've not been able to see how it's supposed to look. Yeah, the draw distance, it can only be seen from a very certain point, and you really shouldn't see it at all, because here's the thing, getting to that lighthouse is the ultimate quest of the game. That is, you eventually will have to get one of the cats, and I won't say which one, to the lighthouse, and get back to the island, in time. I'm wondering, this cat just he's like our own cat. She meowed there. Has a little bit, maybe an allergy on her butt, and she just doesn't want to. Oh, and by the way, that's a stair there that I had to put in because getting into the church was difficult before we fixed the controller. We're just going to go on some paths, walking some paths. And what I'd really like to do is add more, say perhaps fireflies that maybe could act as ambient lighting along the paths and such. We could totally do things like that. But I was probably answering a question that, again, my Grandpa Simpson brain just, because Wayne was answering a question about the quality. And again, look at the nice evening sunset colors there, the purple. We here in Maine are very proud of our sunsets, and we're trying to make the sunsets in the game look very nice. Let's see, and Okay, sorry. Oh, look, so many questions. My understanding of the plot of the game, humans have disappeared. I'm sorry. Felheim. Similar to the open world thing, one of my pet peeves in games is ambiguity, whether the object can be interacted with or is just background. Um, oh, look, the cat caught up with us. We are fixing that. I showed you earlier when the cat goes into sneak mode, certain things are going to be labeled. Oh, this guy. Hold on. Before I go on to more questions. And by the way, cat's sad again. Yeah.
And wouldn't you know?
I actually hired an Alex Jones impersonator.
You guessed it! Jellyfish salad! Am I making sense to you yet? Is it sinking in? Don't be surprised at all when our beloved cathedral woods are absolutely overrun with saffron-toting coralists looking for tapas.
Yeah, he's got his own problem. But the thing is, I mean, I will say this, and this gets me off the questions. Ever since the January 6th insurrection in the United States, and I'm pretty sure we have viewers outside of this country that are watching this, I've had a little bit of a reservation, especially after the Sandy Hook. Alex Jones, I mean, when I modeled that guy's voice after him, Alex Jones was sort of a joke. I mean, he's always been a joke to me. I mean, no, anybody who takes Alex Jones seriously, I'm sorry, if anybody listening does take him seriously, don't. Don't. He doesn't know what he's saying. And I mean, and now that ever since things like Sandy Hook and him calling, that a false flag and all the, harassment that him and him, I mean, all the crap that he has done, I feel a little bit of moral reservations, and including, him still with that voice. But what's done is done. Maybe we can, I don't know. Because here's the thing, in the United States, if you want to use, I mean, there used to be, if you want to really communicate to the viewer or listener, conspiracy theorist, you can't do better than to use the voice of Alex Jones, because Alex Jones is famously a crackpot. I mean, it would just, I can't think of any other person other than Art Bell who might be able to do that, and Art Bell is dead. Art Bell was really good because he was all about like UFOs and phenomena. He started out as a conservative talk show host. I listened to him back when I lived in Seattle, but eventually he said, I refuse to talk about politics. I just want to talk about X-Files stuff. And if I could get an Art Bell impersonator, maybe that would be a better way. But I mean, also, here's the thing: oh my goodness, there's some. What the heck is? Looks like the grass is acting wacky there. I listened to Alex Jones for many years before he went really crazy. Well, he's always been crazy. He's always been a little weasel. But anyway, I need to get off this subject. Let's start talking about crazy Alex Jones. Will you add NPCs? Hi, hey. All these animals that currently you just bump into, they are NPCs. You will have discussions with the deer. You will have discussions with the geese. You will have discussions with the snails that we are going to be including at the southern end of Picnic Point, which is where I'm running right now, just to give you guys an idea of how big the game world is. But yeah, there are NPCs in the game. It's just that they are all the fellow animals on the game. You will, when you meet a deer. Oh, and this is the one rock that I could not remove. I had to include that in the manual because I sat there with the Veg Studio Master about an hour trying to cut that thing out. And it was such a pain. Some of the trails. What was I talking about there? And it looks like I made the grass a little bit too heavy, but can I tell you, out on Cliff Island, let's go to the map again. If you go out to Cliff Island, which is another one of the islands that this game is based on, just give it a moment. I guess it's my video stream. I'm really sucking up our bandwidth here. These roads here, this road, where is it? Yeah, actually, this is actually, you can just barely see it here. This here It looks like a trail, but actually that's a census-designated road. And you wouldn't even know it because it's literally like a 4-foot wide trail in the middle of the woods. Some of the roads out on the main islands are very rough. And in fact, another road on this island, if you go up to around this area, if you follow this road, it's like something out of like the Shire in Middle Earth. It's literally grass. It's a grass road, and it's very beautiful. But as you can see here, I really want to maybe perhaps add a third grass biome. I don't know, because we're probably going to go into the project again, and I can show you how much stuff you have to adjust to make those happen. But I think that answers the question about NPCs. Oh, also you're going to be meeting beaver. You're going to be talking to seagulls. You're going to be talking to crow. Every one of the species on the island has their own agenda now that humans are gone. And you're going to have to make sure that they're all, there he is again. Trust me, you're going to be meeting a lot of people, and you're going to be running up against, like for example, the cats are hungry here. We're going to have bugs spawn along the way that you can grab to recharge your hunger and your happiness. Every time you go catch a bug, you get a little bit of boost to your happiness and a little bit of boost to your hunger, your food levels. And as you can see right now, they're drained. We're just running all the way to Picnic Point because I was going to show you how big this game world was. Right now we're down. This is where the old trading post used to be in the game's history. We have a wiki that's only about third way done, and it has a lot of pages about all the history of the island. Still going. We still haven't gotten to Picnic Point. We're only going about a third of the way around the island, by the way, to get to Picnic Point, just so people have an idea of how large this island is. And the geese are always going to be patrolling. For some reason, they seem to be eternally stuck up by the church, which is another surprise because I set up some very detailed paths for them. But we can get this fixed. Here we are. We're getting closer. Maybe I should answer another question now that I've talked about the NPCs. Where are we? Oh, yeah. We're heading in the right direction. I'm going to see if there's another question while we... go back. Pink. I can answer while going to Picnic Point. Wayne, I love the music in the alpha volume, so it's at fairly low, so I think your regular game sounds better. The sound settings, it's a point taken. I always tell people, turn down your audio when you start it. And actually, there should be more bushes here. That's why I say, it's a constantly change. It never ends with adjusting the biomes and the foliage and everything. Because really, I want it so... when the player first comes around this corner, they just see a peak of, the Olaflaw mansion there, over there, through, bushes, and they're like, oh, what's going on over there? And, that's another thing I want to talk about really quick. One of the things that people, I don't believe in holding the player's hand when it comes to open world adventure games, because one of the things about open worlds is that the game should be completely open, and that includes, goodness gracious, how come you can't move there? That should include player initiative. Now, some of the people that I work with said, no, you have to explicitly tell the player where to go each step, to start their quest and such. And this touches back to what I was talking about earlier, is that we have a very small canvas with a lot of detail. And again, every one of these houses, somebody lives there. Everybody that lives in that house has a life story and a story that is related to the meta story that is going on in the game. So I don't believe that we have to worry about telling the player, oh, go to this house next. Sometimes there will be, but explicitly it'll be plain to some players. And it looks like we have a little bit of magenta basement over here. This only happens when we're missing a shader. That magenta thing there, another bug. My goodness. I could have sworn when I ran around some of these things weren't there. And also the public buildings. This is run by an organization called the Loyal Order of the Cormorant. This organization has been around since World War I. and there are members of this organization on the island, and they have their own agenda, and I'm not going to go too much into it because it deals it's a complex thing. The big story to this. One of the things, can I just say before I go on to the next question, is that I love story-driven games, and I'm really, there's a real lack of that. You can go, oh, come on, you have Dragon Age Origins and Mass Effect and such. And number one, no. Every Dragon Age Origins game and every Mass Effect game has the exact same story. They have the exact same characters. It is just so sad to play one of those games and then read a review where people are going, my goodness, it's the most deep story I've ever heard, encountered in an open world game. Oh my goodness. Oh, since the last, what company puts those games out? I forget. And honest to goodness, if that company is watching this video, I don't want to work for your company, because your company obviously doesn't put any money into like writing and storytelling. And I'm sorry, no. That's the one thing. Most game developer companies, they think, oh, writing, that's just making a bunch of lines on paper, isn't it? No, I seriously, chickens are still a little bit too small, and they pass right through you. That should not be the case. I remember I played this, and you could just bowl them over like bowling balls. That was sort of fun, too. They were just like scatter, but hey, there you go. At least they're running around. Oh well. Oh, hold on, there was a collision there. They collided with the cat. That was weird. Huh. We'll look into that. Hopefully. Hey, Richard, are you still watching? Are you taking notes? One of our developers. He's the guy who did the soundtrack, by the way. And doing the soundtrack is its own, incredibly intense thing. Because to create a soundtrack that can change dynamically like we have is an incredibly tough undertaking. When he did a video that explained a little bit of it, and it was 3 hours long. He did a very good job. But right now the music is sort of like stuck on repeat because the cat is sad. Let me see, maybe we can go to another cat that's not sad. Ah, Ronan! He's not sad, but he's frosted. Okay. Again, I'm working with other story people. Story people. We're working with other writers, and in fact, after this, I have to make I have to write an email to one of the writers that we're working with on stuff. And there are books that you're going to encounter in here that you're going to be able to read. One of the things that I liked about the Elder Scrolls series, not so much the writing, because theirs was mostly just like, go to this place, get to the end of this dungeon, and boom, you're there. And that's the quest. I really didn't like that. But I really liked how, if you wanted to, you could go like into the library and read every danged book there. And there is a library in here. And while I don't anticipate you being able to go from shelf to shelf and reading literally every book that's in the library, I do anticipate you being able to, read quite a few books that you find within the game that may have been left open. We have the reclusive writer character over there. And, let's see. Yeah, we're back to the sad music again. This guy really loses his hunger levels. And by the way, the draining is not of the hunger is not going to be as intense in the real game. There are going to be cats that literally you can go 2 days without feeding, and they're going to be fine. There are going to be other cats that literally, maybe every 12 hours with the game time, you're going to have, twice a day, you may have to give them a little bit of a snack or something, or play with them. Right now, the cats sort of deplete really quickly, and it looks like these lights really need to be spread out because, yeah, wow, how did that happen? Anyway, let's go back to the questions. Let's see. Okay. Understanding the plot of the game is that the humans have disappeared. Oh, did my sound go? Okay, it says my sound is going out. Okay. Oh, hola todos. Oh, hello everybody. Hello to you, Hispano. Buenas noches. Buenos noches. Sorry, I do not speak Espanol at all. I apologize. Let's see. Should I download the link they received, or should I? Okay. Number one, Sean Booth. If you were a subscriber to our Patreon, you should have received a email or a message from Patreon itself saying this is where you can download the PC Alpha. I realize right now that for some reason today I never sent out the blast email for the Mac Alpha, which I will do promptly after this broadcast. So if you should download that, Sean. And now, Phelan, the plot of the game, number one, I mean, not to be, like, particular, but actually, a plot in a story is everything that happens between the beginning and the end. So, really, you would say, really, for example, in the case of the story, the disappearance of the humans is the inciting incident of this story. And, excuse me one moment. The disappearance of the humans is the inciting incident. Essentially, as you are playing the game, I'm pretty sure there are some people who play this game, and they're going to be like, my goodness, I want to find out what happened to the humans. Whereas there are going to be an equal number of players, if not more, that are going to be like, screw the humans. Screw it. I mean, now the cats have the island to themselves. Let me go out and hunt and explore and find stuff. Let's see. I lost that train of thought there. So let me see. I was going to about the different ways that people could approach the disappearance. Oh yeah, the inciting incident. So no, the plot of the game is going to be the decisions that you make throughout the game. Because again, I really like the concept of there being 3 different endings to the game, and you being in the position where. To get to those 3 endings, you have to take very different paths. So, anyway, I think I've made that distinction there between the plot and the inciting incident. I hope I didn't come across as too, annoying there. But anyway, I just want to make that clear. Let's see here. Ezekiel 25. Oh, Mike. Oh, Mike Shuranovsky. Oh, let me tell you, Mike. Tell you what, I'm going to answer everybody else's questions, and I'm really hoping you're here, because what I'm going to do, even though I said I was going to be off at the end of the half hour, now that I know Mike Shuranovsky is here, I'm going to, number one, answer everybody else's questions, and I'm going to take a quick restroom break, and then I'm going to come back and just going to make a quick last announcement to all my fellow game developers out there, all right? One moment. And I don't know what this guy's talking about. Yeah, Ezekiel. Yeah, whatever. He's trying to get into my good graces again, it looks like. Let's see, wait to the stream. I'll put some, that's Mark Orlando. Include a new one. I'll do some gameplay. A newbie walkthrough and some gameplay through it, please. Mark Orlando? Well, really, here's the thing is right now, outside of, a few scavenger hunts and keeping your cat, happy, there really isn't much of a plot to the game, because again, the one thing that we were not able to include in this alpha that we wanted to do was our system. All right. No, it was not our system. Jeez, our quest and dialogue system. And without a quest and dialogue system, there really isn't much of a story to follow. But for the first time in this one, for example, you do start off in Liz's house, but there is supposed to be a scene that happens right before that, where the player starts literally inside of the kitty carrier, being carried along, as your owner takes you out to the island, because you start with Elizabeth there. All right. Let me see. But essentially right now, the purpose of the game is to wake up, explore the house, jump out of the window and then explore the island. And we have been walking around, and I've seen a heck of a lot of bugs that I thought had been addressed. But you know what? Uh, we have a guy down here, Wayne. He has suggested that maybe this may not be the final alpha, because really, I'm kind of shocked at a few of these alphas. Oh, Wayne! Hold! He wanted to see the lighthouse. Hold on. Number one, you can see the lighthouse a little bit behind the main menu here. Gosh, to show, you know what, Wayne? Sorry, you're gonna have to wait to see the lighthouse when you get there in the game. That's all I gotta say about that one. I'm not going into that. So, well, let's see. Are any of the animals hostile? Will the cats be able to hunt? Hi Hey says yes. They will be able to. Oh goodness gracious, a lot of stuff has come in. The cats are going to be able to hunt. They are going to be able to catch bugs. They're going to be able to catch these flying fungus that you will be encountering. In fact, if people have like walked around and heard this farting noise in the woods, that's probably one of them. It may be stuck in the trees or something. I don't know. I have to look into that. Yes, you will be able to hunt, but here's the thing: is that you won't be able to hunt mice. Oh, I forgot to mention that in the list of NPCs. You will encounter mice. They're NPCs as well. And let me just go to the next question. Are any of the animals hostile? Well, to a certain extent they are. For example, if the geese catch up to your cat, they will detain them, and you will have to unlock them. Likewise with the deer. Basically, now that the humans are gone, several other animals have basically taken it upon themselves to say, okay, we're the law, and we're the people in charge now. Like I said, every NPC species has their own agenda over the course of the game, and it may seem hostile to you, but I mean, one of the themes, I mean, when you're dealing with a game that's dealing with fundamental things like, for example, the basic thing of are humans worth bringing back? That opens up like a bunch of philosophical and moral things to consider. And I mean, one of the things in coming up with this mechanic of determining whether humans are good or bad, we also have to work into that the idea that a lot of things that perhaps people and species do that could be considered to be hostile are actually, from that species' perspective, not hostile. Understand there are so many people who, so many species in this world, and I mean, honest to goodness, I mean, if the cows brought us, I mean, I'm not a vegetarian, but if the cows ever became, completely sentient, all of a sudden, and they, were able to overpower us humans and bring us into like this cow court, we would be like, they would be like, well, how dare you, like, for generations, kill billions of us simply so they could eat us and toss half of our bodies into a pit, and we'd be like, because you're tasty, because we've been doing it for so long, we didn't even think of it as bad. I mean, a mosquito, we hate mosquitoes, but do you think from a mosquito's point of view, I mean, you think they hate us when they bite us? No, I guarantee a mosquito looks at us and they're like, oh my God, that person is a mountain galaxy of delicious food. I mean, the mosquito doesn't hate us. They're not trying to give us a disease. They're just there and they're doing that. And I mean, that's again, I mean, the whole thing about hostility that we've had to like figure from like almost a gameplay and philosophical point of view. And I'm wondering, these kitty cats all seem to have sore bottoms. They are just not jumping. Let's just go to the jungle gym really quick, because I could show you a couple of other things that we included in this thing. Now that we're over here, one of the things that the guy did was he got this balancing in there, and I really should answer more questions real quick, because what we want to do here is we want to get to the oh, no, okay, I see. Don't tell me we don't have it working, man. Don't tell me you have it working in this alpha. Oh, come on, guys. Let's see here. All right, let's see. It's got to work here. Oh, there we go. That's why. The thing is, when you do a jump, you got to hold it. That way, the thing knows. So we got the nice dismount. By the way, those are things. And now here's what you can do. Is Wayne has got it in here so that moving across these little like thing is a puzzle in itself, because you got these balancing games you got to work on while it's going across, and there are varying levels of difficulty. You see, you got the little level down there below as it's going across, and that's another little mini game that's in there. And here's the thing, I confess, I am not as skilled as some people are. I cannot jump from surface to surface, but we have it set up now where if you're climbing from one surface, say for example on ivy, you can, and there's another, say, wall that's nearby with ivy on it or a climbable surface, you can jump from one climbable surface to another, sort of parkour from one surface to a climbable surface to another, which is something that is something that's another. Again, this new guy we brought on, it's amazing stuff that he's been able to accomplish in just a few months. And my kitty cats are all sitting here, and Laura, she had to feed up kitty cats. Like I said, let me see if I have any more questions over here. And I probably have a lot, but I still, like I said, Alex Jones impersonator. Thank you, Amanda. Seems violent. Crab pots. Wayne, fish bowls, driftwood, yes. Crab pots, not so common, actually. And fishing poles, people up here, they tend to hold their fishing poles very dear to them, and actually the humans disappear in the middle of the night, so there would not be so many people out during that time of the day with their fishing pole. But who knows? There will be items, and I always wonder how come. Oh, look at this! The toilet tissue pyramid is. Let's get this going. Boom, boom, bam! I really like this swipe. This guy's got going. Bam, zap. All right. Okay, question. And I got that thing going where I immediately alt tab over to the next window. Okay. Okay, yeah, Amanda Greenfield, thank you so much. Are those bats? No. Goodness, that was a long time ago. You're talking about the fireflies. The bats, we do not have bats. We do have butterflies, though. There might be some large. We have crow. We do have some fireflies. We have some other insects. We have butterflies. We have seagulls. I think other than that, other than something that I cannot mention right now, I think that's all the flying things that we have. We do not have bats, even though, can I say, I never saw a bat until I moved up here to Portland, Maine, and I didn't know that their bodies were so small. I mean, they literally are just little mice with gigantic wings. I mean, they're smaller than mice. Evolution is an amazing thing. Let's go over to these questions over here. Oh, goodness, I keep on zipping past them. All right. Okay, now, Hey mentioned something that comes up at every one of these things, and it looks like I may be going to the top of the hour, which is cool. Except, after that, I really have to take a break. Let's see here. Multiplayer. Here is the thing that I will tell you about multiplayer. I am not a multiplayer gamer. I never have been, and I mean, I was one thing, when they told me, oh, multiplayer doesn't work in No Man's Sky? Huh, maybe I should give No Man's Sky a try. And when I found out that it had brought in multiplayer, I was like, okay, not again. In fact, No Man's Sky still is a really horrible piece of software. It burns out RAM. All the stories about them redeeming themselves with No Man's Sky, bollocks. No, they have not fixed No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is still just a horribly bad piece of software. Anyway, enough about that. I try not to diss other game developers, but seriously, the people at No Man's Sky, just admit it. Just admit it, you screwed up. Anyway, let's see. Going back, multiplayer. I'm not a fan of multiplayer, as I said. And there's this old saying, if you want to hire a chef to make your soup, don't hire a chef that hates soup. if you want to hire somebody if you want to hire a gardener to take care of your lawn, don't hire a gardener who hates grass. Likewise, if I made a multiplayer game, it would suck. Simply because there's a part of me inside that just doesn't like it. It's just not asking. It would be like asking me, geez, to write a rap song. But no, because I kind of like some rap music. I can't come up with a proper analogy really to tell you. But you know what? I was sort of opened up to the idea because somebody mentioned this idea of perhaps if the player gets all the way through 3 playthroughs, if they find all 3 endings of the game, it then will allow you to play multiplayer. But the thing is that means that we would have to bring in a whole team to come up with a multiplayer scenario for this game. I mean, this game was designed as a multiplayer. No, it's a single player experience. So, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. But I'm pretty sure it's going to turn off some people. Let me see. But unfortunately, that's the way it is. I cannot make a game that I would not like. How often we feel... Okay, I touched on that, Alex. Right now, Alex asks, how quickly will the bars be draining? I touched on that earlier. Actually, right now, they drain very quickly. When you get into the main game, you're going to have 9 cats. 9 cats that you will have to take care of. If all the cats drained at this speed, it would be a nightmare to take care of them. And as I said earlier, there will be cats in this game that will only need to be fed maybe once every few days. And by the way, in this game, a full day-night cycle is going to be 72 minutes, I believe, or 76 minutes. So literally, there are going to be some cats that only have to be fed every couple of hours. But there may be some cats that, they are going to be a pain in the butt and demand a little bit of extra, attention. And I like how she put the ears back. The cat is just not happy. Let's see. So, part of the game, it is sort of like just a management game. It's just making sure your cats are happy. But the thing is, we are going to balance it so that it is never annoying. It isn't going to be like, honest to God, some of us have played Grand Theft Auto. I'm pretty sure, I was told, never mention Grand Theft Auto, but I'm going to. Anybody who's played Grand Theft Auto, 5, what was it? Hey, Marco, let's go out and play bowling. Oh, God. I always dreaded those. And anybody who played that was like, oh, goodness, my friends. I hate my friends. I'm never going to put the player through that, where they're like, oh, my God, this cat needs me again. I'm going to be, hopefully we're going to make it, balance everything good in a way that it will not, the management of the cats is going to be organic and nice and smooth. So, well, where's my mouth? Oh, I'm sorry. Boy, it seems like the sun is setting here too. Now, Wayne, you just touched on something that I wanted to mention again about hand-holding players' requests. We call that managing player initiative. In terms, hand-holding quests or quest giving, that is player initiative. And one game that completely broke the mold on that recently, and I really enjoyed, was a game called Sable. And if you've not played Sable, I highly recommend it. That is a game, literally, you're just put out there and told, here is the world. Your only goal, this is your rite of passage as a young person. Go out there and see the world. And the thing is from your starting point, you could see a few kind of neat ruins in the far distance. And, of course, you're like, hey, yeah, sure. In fact, I'm going to open up the project again really quick, by the way, so I can see it inside the editor. And I don't think that players need to have their hands held. I don't think players need to constantly be told, go here, kill so many things, and then bring it back. I think, for example, players, I mean, for example, a player will go around a house and, again, we're trying to deal with different kinds of players. Maybe they went around a house and they notice this guy has a heck of a lot of books on that subject. And later on in the thing, they'll go, yeah, and the thing in the game, in the narrative that they have chosen, they may come across a quest where they're like, hey, the person who has the most nautical knowledge or knowledge about this subject or such. And I'm not going to have a pop-up that goes, hey, remember reading those books? I'm hoping that the player remembers, yes, I saw a lot of those books, or I saw a lot of those things. I don't believe, I mean, players should, I mean, playing a game, of course, is an interactive thing between the developer and the player, and I don't believe the player should constantly be pushed. I mean, I think that's almost in a way disrespectful to the player because open world game, it's all based on player initiative. You shouldn't be pushed into something. I mean, people are already complaining. Well, some people have voiced objection that at the very beginning of Peace Island, prior to that, like you waking up in the house, there's this short, like a minute and a half long scene where you're inside the kitty carrier, and all you could do is move the mouse and meow, sort of like that opening scene in Skyrim. People who've played Skyrim or know what I'm talking about. That opening scene in Skyrim, about an hour too long. You know what I'm talking about? It's so much exposition, so much talking, and all you can do is sit there and look. And that is antithetical to the concept of open world player initiative games. So, trying to keep that to a minimum. Let's go over to our questions again. More place, yeah. Well, actually. Okay. I like to play. Yeah. Hi, hey. Can the cat die in the game? No, they cannot. Here's the thing. At a certain point, if you don't take care of your cats, those cats will try to take care of themselves in the best way, in the best manner that they can, given nearby resources. We already have AIs for the cat. I mean, well, we have a primitive one, but we are I mean, really, will a cat stick around in one spot if it's hungry and it wants to go somewhere to get food? No, it won't. It'll go and get that food. And the cats cannot drown. The cats cannot, et cetera, et cetera. No, there is. I mean, here's the one thing. The concept of mortality is going to be addressed in the game. In fact, it is going to be a driving narrative, not to give away too much. But no, cats won't die. No. I prefer non-multiplayer. Thank you. Yeah, Moral. I just thought I had a nice stroll around the island, random players, maybe able to chat. Well, hi, hey, again, maybe. Here's one thing. I mean, I keep on going back to this, and it's sort of a bad analogy because I really don't like the game, but apparently some people consider a game, you may have heard of it, called Nier Automata, to be like the perfect game. Jim Sterling, who I completely respect, said, if history does not remember Nier Automata, then, well, F history. I played Nier Automata for 30 seconds, and I had to give up because my brain was leaving my body with how bad that game was. But one thing that Nier Automata did that I thought was really good, and I don't know whether this is true because I've only heard it from people who love the game, is that Nier Automata opens itself up to you the more replays you go through. And in fact, I've heard some people say, oh yeah, you really don't get Nier Automata's story and overall, je ne sais quoi, until you've gone through at least a fourth playthrough. And that is why I was thinking maybe if players have gone through all three quests, all three endings of the game, they will be able to maybe a multiplayer mode will unlock where they, everybody else has finished all three endings can interact, perhaps. And now just for Wayne, I am going to bring this up here. I still want to have that because I'm really hoping Mike Sharonofsky is still here. I'm really hoping. In fact, do you want to put up another Ezekiel quote, Mike, for me? I mean, this last thing I'm going to do is especially for you. I'm going to show Wayne the lighthouse. And by the way, we've always had this guy in Germany called Wooferpuff show up. He usually does Warhammer 40k stuff, and tonight he's not here. I mean, it's not a stream unless Wooferpuffer's here. Wooferpuff. Let's see. And yeah, hi, hey, I understand. Maybe, I mean, again, I can see maybe a scenario, a hangout situation would be kind of cool. You know, for all people who have been through the entire game and everything. You know, they could just compare notes and such, and so go, hey, did you see this thing? Did you see this thing? That would be kind of neat. But we'd have to set up servers, and that would be another cost. And also, it would mean hiring some people who are more expert and developing multiplayer things, because I would like it. I mean, if we did a multiplayer, for there to be more things than just like another Habbo Hotel sort of situation. Goodness gracious. Let's not. I don't know why I mentioned Habbo Hotel, because now I've got the image of like people forming the cats into swastikas. But oh goodness, and that's the reason. I mean, adult language coming up, but there's this thing in game development called dick proofing. Multiplayer is almost impossible to dick proof. Dick proofing is you're always going to have people who want to be dicks in a game. And getting rid of all those opportunities for people just to, you know, not do something crass in the middle of a game. Okay, so this is the lighthouse, as you can see. Now, understand what... Oh, jeez. I cannot even say, Wayne. Here's the thing. I do not want to get into too much of the story and everything, but trust me, this little house there is important, and I'm going to say is what's up there isn't as important as what may be down there. Okay, I think I've said enough. All right, let's move on. Hold on. What is this? Lighthouse from here below it. Okay. Oh, after walking. Oh, you walked all the way across there. For some reason, I'm getting a lot of things. Dick proofing. Okay, yeah, show. Okay, dick. I see, because dick proofing. Yeah. Well, actually, that is the name of the process within game development. Is removing all the ways that people can, you know, be a jerk. It's literally called that. And I'm sorry again for anybody tuned in and may find that term offensive, but it's game development. Now, let me see. Now, we are getting up on... Oh, God, 8:52. Now, here's the thing. We're at the bottom of the questions. I think I've gone through it all. If you'll pardon me, I just want to step away for a moment and you visit the restroom. And I want to do one last thing before I sign off. And like I said, this is for our good friend Mike Sharonofsky, who I sincerely hope is still watching. All right? And thanks, by the way, for everybody who's tuning in. And if you have any more questions or anything, comments, type them in while I'm gone. I'm probably going to be gone for about, I would say, about 90 seconds. All right? I will be right back. Let me adjust my audio. back, and my goodness, for the first time, on a walk away, I've not lost no viewers. That's strange. I mean, everybody's like, what is he gonna say? Okay, here. Now, number one, I want to finish this. Well, no, I'm going to finish this. Do the overall goodbye after I finish this last topic here. I'm just seeing if there are any more comments over here. Well, Morrow, thank you for your support and everybody else's support who has helped us and stood by us through all this time, and and given us feedback and all this, because really, it's been a crazy few years, and it could have been less time, but well, I'll touch on that in a bit. But I just want to say my parents aren't gamers, but I should know. Well, I feel them. But let me tell you, get in touch with us, and I'll send. If you're not a Patreon supporter, I'll give you email me, and I'll give you a preview of it if you want. If you want to play an alpha of it, I'll go ahead and send you one. I mean, if you can't become a Patreon supporter, I understand some people can't. So if you please, you know how to get in touch with us. peaceislandllc@gmail.com. And everybody will go, oh yeah, I'm that Feelum guy. Send me a link. Okay, so let's see. It's a Feelum. It's a Fehelm. Fehelm. I'm very sorry for mispronouncing. So anyway, now this is the last thing that I'm going to touch on before my big goodbye, because really I thought I was going to go 90 minutes, and here we are, it's 2 hours. But this is something that I want to tell all my fellow game fellow game indie game developers out there. Now, sometime along your journey as an indie game developer, if you set up a Patreon, there may come a time when you are lucky enough to get a little bit of support, maybe a great deal of support from people, and all of a sudden you find yourself, like I was, where, I was working for 40 hours a week, at that time 35 hours a week at the deli, and Laura, my co-developer, she was working, 40-hour weeks at a care home. And if your game project, it takes off, and all of a sudden you're quitting your old job and you're setting up a game studio for the first time in your life. And I've worked at game studios before, but I've never set one up myself. But here's what's going to happen when you get that surge of support. And I keep on forgetting the name. Oh yeah, it's called Graphtron. Understand, out there in the gaming world, oh, what happened? Sorry guys. Earning Patreon projects. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now, when that day comes and you start to get substantial support, and you start to set up your game studio, you should be aware there are websites like this, Graphitron and several others. They are aggregators that send their spiders out to all of the popular crowdfunding websites, such as GoFundMe, Patreon, and so on and so forth. And they list them. This one only deals with Patreon. Now, there are other ones that aggregate all the data across all, because some, projects, they treat crowdfunding like I treat social media. They have them on all. But understand that there are websites like this where all this information is publicly available, including your project. Now, like I said, imagine for a moment that the day comes when your project, after years of hard work, all of a sudden you're pulling in a few hundred, maybe over 1,000, or maybe even more on Patreon. Understand, and this is for the friend that I mentioned earlier, MC, there are people who quit the game industry for one reason or another, and they're still in their, they may be even in their late 30s, sometimes, early 40s. And they made so much money off of these things. But you know what? They quit, but they want to buy a second house. So what they do is these people who have, worked at these game studios and were pulling down a quarter million a year, if not more, when in their early 30s, and now are retired at the age of 42. They hang out on websites like this, and what they're looking for is they are looking for projects that suddenly rise in popularity or trend. And what those people do is they come to you and they send out, I guarantee you, every day they send out form letters to these people, and they'll say, listen, I used to work in gaming development. I worked on these studios. I worked on these great games. And you know what? I quit the gaming industry, but after I heard about your gaming project on this article today, my goodness, I am so touched. I wanted to do a game like this, but I never had the imagination. And at this point, if you're like me, you're like, hold on, let me tell you. I really appreciate the praise, guy, but let's say I get back in touch with you a couple of days from now, and sure enough, you look up this person, and you find out, yes, they did work for these AAA studios. They did work on all of these games. And sure enough, you're like, wow, this guy, seriously, he's going to be bringing in his expertise, he's going to be bringing in his contacts, and our project is graduating to the next level. But no, here's what this person is doing. He is, number one, going to insist that you bring him on. They're going to go for something really innocuous at first, maybe as an advisor, but eventually they're going to try and bring themselves up to project lead. And they're going to tell you, ditch all the stuff inside of your game right now. It's cool. Don't get me wrong. It impressed me. But I want to hire my friend. You need to hire my friend over here. Because he's been doing, say, for example, character controllers. He's been doing character controllers for decades. He did them on Arkham. He did quadrupeds. He could do everything. But you know what that guy's going to do? He's going to come into your project. He's going to sit on his butt. He's going to produce something that's absolute garbage. He's going to string you along. And every time you come to him, he's going to say, well, listen, I used to get paid $100 an hour for what I did. It's, you should be just grateful that I'm here doing what I do. And if you go to the original guy that told you to hire him, the guy who brought you in the first place on his little scheme, he will literally gaslight you and say oh, listen, you're just new to this team. You do this game. You don't know what you're doing. Trust me, this guy's good, and I know what I'm doing. And they will string you along for as long as they can, and they will suck every last cent out of your project. They don't care about you. They don't care about the game. They don't care about the thousands of people who are supporting it. They care about getting money in their pocket so they can buy their second house before they turn 45. And and let me tell you, it's really sucky to come to that realization that they are doing that to you, and you fell victim to that. But here is the thing. That's why I felt that I needed to mention this, and this is why I'm hoping my friend Mike C is watching this still. Because I was not warned about this. But I have seen the people that ripped us off appearing on other game development projects. And I always mention this. Understand, the number one contributor to the Peace Island project is myself. 1 out of every $10 that has gone to this project has been out of my pocket. And I've not paid myself for weeks on end to keep this project going. And I am willing to say that I absorbed every one of the 5 digits of expense that these hucksters sucked out of us. So the patrons never paid for it. I paid for it. But they sucked a year out of us. We are a year late in producing what we should have done because of this huckster. And I'm saying this because, not to say, oh, poor Peace Island project, and this is what. I'm saying this because, listen, the one thing, there's a happy ending to this story, is that these people who scammed us, they usually, when they scam a project, they suck every last cent out of it, they destroy it, and then they move on. Sometime along this path, I'm still tying down the exact moments when these happened, but one by one, these people were scared away. And as a result, they didn't get a chance to destroy the Peace Island project. And as a result, we are in a position, I am in a unique position of being able to warn people. And I know this is sort of like off subject to the Peace Island thing, but the thing is understand, as somebody, this is a labor of love for me and Laura. It is literally, I work 11 hours a day, 6 days a week, and on the 7th day, I still work 6 or 7 hours. And not because I have to, it's because I want to. And I understand this is the way that every indie developer feels about their projects. And they need to know. They need to know that when their project suddenly goes viral and they're suddenly contacted by these like people with all of these great resumes, no. Tell them to leave. Shut the door, block their email address, block them on social media. Be economical with your trust. Trust the people who contribute to your project and the people that you work with, your friends. But you got to be careful, because again, I'm going to just scroll through this again. I mean, look at this. Games, video, 3D printing. There are people that go to every one of these categories. A guy that I know who's into comics was recently scammed by somebody in this exact same manner. So they're all over the place. And being scammed doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't make you a bad businessman or a bad game developer. Because you understand that scams like this would not be so common if they were not so profitable. And let me tell you, just again, if this ever happens to you, any amount of anger and whatever that you express, just close the door, slam the door in their faces. And if they say to you, "Oh, I'm just trying to help you," or they're just like, "Oh man, you're turning your back on so much talent." No, that's, oh God, that's the Bird Box voice. The Bird Box voice, if you ever saw that movie, the guy that was trapped inside of the trailer, "Oh, come on, let me out, guys." Oh, no, do not trust. Do not. All right? I think I've made myself clear. And if you're an indie developer, just be careful. And again, Peace Island LLC or Blumerick1970 at gmail.com. Contact me, game developers. I'd love to talk to you about this. I can name names. In fact, Mike C., if you're here, make sure that Brett watches this video, because I want him to know that he has pissed off a lot of people. And all the game projects that he abandoned, like ours, they still remember him. And we've been talking. We've been emailing. So I really want you to pass that along. Brett's going to have a little bit of a harder time finding work in the future. Just saying. Anyway, I think that's it. Let me just see if there are any more discussions. Anything else to say? Legal action. That's the thing. They do not break the law. It's a confidence scam. If you're not familiar with what a confidence scam is, it is literally that word. It is people coming in and gaining your confidence, and then bit by bit grabbing more and more. And that's the insidious thing. There is nothing illegal to what they're doing. Unethical? Yes, but not criminal. So. Anyway, I think I'm done. I appreciate everybody hanging in, and I think I said everything that I need to about that last thing. So hey, I appreciate it, and everybody in the future, $1 gets you a access to the final alpha, and as Wayne pointed out, and as I discovered tonight, there very well might be a surprise alpha in the future, because seems there are quite a few bugs that escaped our review, and I'd like to get those fixed. Let me see, that was $1, patreon.com/Peace Island. And if you want to contact me, you can also contact me here on YouTube and social media. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're all over the place, guys. And I think we have had a wonderful evening here, and I really appreciate everybody for tuning in and sticking with me. And Wayne, again, thank you so much for being so insistent on all those bug reports and all. So take care, guys. See you later.